Retirement is supposed to be the reward, not a second job trying to afford rent and hospital bills. But right now, a lot of Americans are watching their savings shrink faster than their grocery receipts grow. Now here's the crazy part. Some U.S. cities are so desperate for new residents, they're literally offering cash, tax breaks, housing help, and perks just to get retirees to move in and stay. Today, we're counting down 5 U.S. cities that are practically paying you to retire there. And we're not talking about tiny discounts or boring senior coupons. We're talking relocation money, serious tax advantages, and one place that quietly pays retirees just for living there. Pick the right city and retirement gets easier. Pick the wrong one, and you could burn through your savings way faster than you planned. And trust me, one of these cities is offering benefits most people have no idea even exist. Welcome to the Urban Lens. Let's break it down. Number 5. Morgantown, West Virginia. A place where retirement decisions might come down to choosing between mountain views or how fast your taxes disappear. Welcome to Morgantown, the college town that somehow doubles as a retirement cheat code. Most people know it as the home of West Virginia University, packed with students, sports, and enough school spirit to power an entire state. But quietly, behind all that energy, Morgantown has been turning into one of the most financially friendly places retirees never think to check. Let's talk numbers because this city makes retirement math look suspiciously easy. West Virginia has been phasing out state taxes on Social Security income, meaning for many retirees, that monthly check stays closer to whole. Housing? The median home price sits around $235,000, which feels almost rebellious in a country where home prices keep acting like they're training for the Olympics. Healthcare access is another quiet win here. WVU Medicine is headquartered in Morgantown, and it's considered one of the strongest medical networks in the region. Translation: solid healthcare without needing a road trip and a packed lunch just to see a specialist. Safety also surprises people. Despite being a college town, Morgantown's violent crime rate sits roughly 29% below the national average. And the overall cost of living lands about 10% lower than what most Americans are dealing with right now. Basically, your retirement savings last longer here, and your grocery bill might stop personally attacking you. But here's where Morgantown starts getting sneaky competitive. Through programs like Ascend West Virginia, the region has been offering relocation incentives worth up to $12,000. The goal? Attract remote workers and early retirees willing to relocate and stay. In simple terms, they're offering money, outdoor recreation perks, and networking opportunities just to convince you to unpack and stick around. That means retirement here could come with lower expenses, strong healthcare access, and a lifestyle built around hiking trails, river views, and enough fresh air to make your doctor suspicious. One local online joked, "You can spend money on entertainment every weekend or spend $20 on gear and disappear into the mountains for free fun all year." Personally, I respect both life choices equally. Now, we do have to talk about the driving here. Morgantown traffic feels like it's run by 2 types of people. Drivers who treat every hill like a NASCAR qualifying lap, and drivers who treat every hill like their car, just remembered it hates gravity. You might find yourself stuck behind a Subaru, climbing a mountain at 15 miles per hour with a kayak on top, in weather that suggests nobody should be kayaking anywhere. I'm not saying the roads are confusing. I'm just saying GPS directions here occasionally sound like, turn left at the bridge, pray, and commit emotionally. But if you think Morgantown is generous, just wait until you see the next city on this list. Because one place is offering retirement perks that feel like they accidentally copied a lottery prize structure. Number 4. Topeka, Kansas. A city that looked at America's housing crisis and basically said, what if we just paid people to move here instead? Let's be honest, while buyers in cities like Austin and Denver are battling over apartments like it's a reality show elimination round, Topeka is sitting quietly in the Midwest offering relocation money like it's handing out welcome baskets. And no, Topeka isn't just some forgotten flat town stuck in time. Well, parts of it definitely still look like your granddad's photo album, but the city is quietly pulling off one of the more aggressive comeback plans in small city America. Let's start with the headline grabber. Through the Choose Topeka program, the city has been offering up to $15,000 in relocation incentives if you move there and work for a local employer. Remote worker? You can still qualify for around $10,000 just for bringing your laptop, your retirement plan, and your Wi-Fi password with you. And here's where things start looking extra appealing for retirees. The cost of living in Topeka sits roughly 19% below the national average. Housing is where it really hits. The median home price floats around $170,000, which honestly sounds like someone forgot to update the listing after 2005. Kansas also throws in tax relief that retirees definitely notice. Seniors aged 65 and older can qualify for property tax rebates through the state's Homestead Refund Program. On top of that, Social Security income isn't taxed for many lower-income retirees, and the state has been pushing toward expanding those exemptions even further. Translation? The money you spent decades saving might finally stop leaking out through taxes and rising living costs. But Topeka isn't just throwing cash around and hoping people show up. The city has been investing heavily in retiree-friendly amenities, upgraded community centers, expanded walking trails, public recreation programs, and senior activity groups that make retirement feel less like slowing down and more like switching hobbies every Tuesday. And financially, the move can hit different. For some retirees, selling a high-priced home in a major metro and relocating to Topeka means buying a house outright, pocketing leftover equity, and still having room in the budget for projects, travel, or finally starting that hobby you swore you'd get into after retirement. And the vibe? One local described Topeka as Midwestern calm with just enough personality to keep things interesting, which is honestly a polite way of saying it's friendly, low drama, and surprisingly welcoming once you give it a chance. Now, we do have to talk about Kansas weather, because Mother Nature in Topeka likes variety. You might wake up to sunshine, eat lunch during a thunderstorm, and spend dinner wondering why the wind suddenly sounds like it's auditioning for an action movie. Locals call it seasonal diversity. Visitors call it emotional character development. And then there are the roundabouts. Kansas loves them. Kansas trusts them. Kansas installs them like they're trying to unlock an achievement badge. Drivers, however, still seem to treat them like advanced math problems nobody studied for. But picture this for a second. You're relaxing on your porch. Wide open skies overhead. Neighbors who actually wave instead of checking your property value online. A home you can afford without refinancing your soul. And every dollar you're not spending, that's another reason retirement starts feeling like freedom instead of budgeting practice. So let me ask you, if a city offered you relocation money and a cost of living that cuts your expenses almost in half, would you take it? Let me know down in the comments. And if you think Topeka is generous, just wait until you see the next city on this list. Because one place is offering perks that make retirement look less like slowing down and more like getting a second starting line. Number 3. Tulsa, Oklahoma. Now here's a retirement plot twist most people never see coming. Tulsa might quietly be one of the smartest financial pivots you can make once the paychecks stop and the retirement account finally takes center stage. For decades, Tulsa's image was simple. Oil history, Route 66 nostalgia, and that calm Midwestern politeness where conversations end with, well, take care now. But behind that laid-back reputation, Tulsa has been pulling off one of the boldest population comeback strategies in the country, and retirees are benefiting whether the programs were designed for them or not. Let's start with the headline magnet. The Tulsa Remote Program offers up to $10,000 to people willing to relocate. While it was originally built to attract remote workers, the ripple effects have reshaped the entire city. New housing investments, upgraded public spaces, expanding restaurants, and a city leadership that openly welcomes newcomers. Even retirees stepping into Tulsa today are walking into a community that's already been financially and culturally upgraded. Now let's talk numbers, the ones that actually decide whether retirement feels relaxing or like a long-term budgeting competition. Tulsa's cost of living lands roughly 15% below the national average. Housing is where it starts looking especially attractive. Median home prices hover around $195,000, while one-bedroom rents often sit between $850 and $900 a month. In a housing market where prices have been climbing like they're allergic to gravity, Tulsa still feels grounded. Taxes also lean retiree-friendly. Oklahoma fully exempts Social Security income from state taxes and offers partial exemptions on other types of retirement income, which can stretch monthly budgets much further than many retirees expect. Healthcare is another quiet strength. Major hospital systems like St. Francis Health System and Ascension St. John anchor a growing medical corridor, giving residents strong access to specialized care without needing to travel hours for appointments. Financially, Tulsa tends to feel like pressure releasing slowly. Lower housing costs, manageable utilities, and everyday expenses that don't feel like surprise bills disguised as groceries. Lifestyle-wise, Tulsa has been investing heavily in quality of life, and nowhere shows that better than the Gathering Place, a massive riverfront park consistently ranked among the best urban parks in the United States. And here's the best part. It's completely free. No passes, no entry fees, just walking trails, open green space, and enough community activity to make retirement feel less isolated and more connected. Now, we do have to talk about Tulsa's summers because they don't gently introduce themselves. The heat arrives like it owns the lease and reminds you to respect hydration immediately. Locals swear they're used to it. Their air conditioners strongly disagree. And then there's the road construction. Tulsa believes in improvement projects the way some cities believe in coffee. Miss one exit, and suddenly you're on an unexpected tour of neighborhoods you didn't know existed, which is great for exploration and terrible if you were already late. But picture the everyday reality here. Morning walks along the Arkansas River. Live music drifting from local cafes. Conversations that aren't rushed. You check your bank balance not out of anxiety, just out of curiosity, and realize your expenses are still comfortably under control. And unlike some Midwest cities, Tulsa's weather usually commits to a season most of the time. Tulsa figured out how to attract new residents without looking desperate. But the next city on this list? It didn't just attract retirees, it quietly rewrote the entire retirement rulebook. Number 2, Paducah, Kentucky. A town where retirement can mean waking up beside a river, grabbing breakfast downtown, and still having enough money left over to argue with strangers about art before lunch. Paducah isn't exactly the place people brag about discovering first. And honestly, that's part of the advantage. While bigger retirement hotspots get crowded and expensive, Paducah has been quietly building one of the most affordable and lifestyle-friendly setups retirees can find. Let's start with the numbers, because Paducah's financial math feels almost suspiciously generous. The cost of living here sits roughly 22% below the national average. Housing is where things get especially interesting. The median home price floats just above $140,000, which, in today's market, sounds less like a house price and more like a down payment in most major cities. Kentucky also gives retirees several tax advantages. Social Security income isn't taxed at the state level, and many other retirement income sources qualify for deductions. On top of that, homeowners aged 65 and older can qualify for homestead property tax relief, helping lock in long-term affordability. Healthcare access is another quiet strength. Paducah is served by respected medical systems like Mercy Health Lourdes and Baptist Health Paducah, both known for strong senior care services and relatively accessible appointment times compared to larger metro areas. But Paducah isn't just relying on low prices to attract retirees. The city has been actively investing in making retirement life feel comfortable and interesting. Local programs encourage relocation through housing assistance, community development grants, and continued investments in walkable downtown districts, public art projects, and riverfront revitalization. Financially, the move could be a serious reset button. Many retirees selling property in larger cities can relocate to Paducah, purchase a home outright, and still walk away with savings left over, all while living in a UNESCO-designated creative city known for its art scene, historic architecture, and small-town charm. Lifestyle-wise, Paducah has a personality that feels calm, but never dull. It's the kind of place where you can spend an afternoon by the Ohio River, browse local galleries, and end up in a random conversation about quilting, fishing, or community history with someone who probably owns at least one farm animal and a strong opinion about cornbread recipes. Now let's talk about Paducah's summers. Because humidity here doesn't gently introduce itself. It arrives like it paid rent and plans to stay. Step outside long enough, and you might start wondering why the air feels like it's personally evaluating your life choices. And the insects? Let's just say some of them appear confident enough to demand identification before flying away. Another adjustment for newcomers. Evenings here move slower. Shops and restaurants tend to close earlier than in major cities, which means nightlife usually involves front porches, local diners, or peaceful walks instead of crowded entertainment districts. But imagine the daily routine here for a moment. Morning coffee overlooking the Ohio River. Historic downtown streets that feel calm instead of rushed. Community events where neighbors actually remember your name. And a monthly budget that doesn't constantly remind you retirement has limits. Paducah regularly ranks high for safety compared to national averages, which adds another layer of comfort for retirees looking for a quieter environment without feeling isolated. Close your eyes and picture it. Church bells echoing through downtown, fresh food cooking at local cafes, a warm breeze drifting off the river, and a lifestyle that encourages you to slow down without sacrificing community or culture. Paducah offers peace, affordability, and stability. But the number one city on this list? It's louder, faster growing, and offering retirement perks that don't just protect your savings, they can actually help you build something new during retirement. Number 1. Hutchinson, Kansas. So let me get this straight. You can retire somewhere peaceful, affordable, and community-focused, and the town might actually help pay for you to move there. Sounds fake. Sounds like one of those internet rumors that disappears once you read the fine print. Except it's real. And it's called Hutchinson, Kansas, a place that quietly climbed to the top of this list because financially and lifestyle-wise, it checks boxes most retirement cities don't even try to touch. Hutchinson goes by the nickname Salt City, which honestly sounds like it belongs in a gritty Western movie. But behind that old-school name is one of the most surprisingly smart retirement setups in the Midwest. Let's start with the numbers because Hutchinson's retirement math almost feels unfair. The cost of living here sits roughly 25% below the national average. Housing is where things start looking almost unreal. The median home price hovers around $130,000. In some parts of the country, that barely buys a parking space with emotional attachment issues. Healthcare is another strong point. Hutchinson Regional Medical Center anchors the city, supported by local clinics and senior-focused care programs that give retirees reliable access without needing to travel long distances for treatment. Safety also leans in Hutchinson's favor. Crime rates consistently land lower than many similarly sized cities across the region, which is impressive, especially considering the town literally sits on top of one of the largest underground salt mines in the country. Turns out, the only thing intense about Hutchinson is its geology. Now, let's talk taxes, because retirement budgets notice taxes immediately. Kansas has been moving toward phasing out state taxes on Social Security income, while also offering property tax relief options for seniors through programs like the Safe Senior Property Tax Relief Initiative. That combination helps retirees hold on to more of their monthly income and stabilize long-term housing costs. But Hutchinson doesn't stop at tax perks. Local development programs have introduced housing assistance and relocation incentives designed to attract both retirees and remote workers. The goal is simple. If you're bringing steady income and contributing to the local economy, Hutchinson wants you there, and they're willing to invest to make it happen. Financially, that can flip retirement expectations completely. Many people relocating from high-cost metro areas can sell their homes, move to Hutchinson, buy property outright, and still keep a financial cushion intact. That's not just downsizing. That's resetting your entire cost structure. Lifestyle-wise, Hutchinson balances quiet living with just enough activity to keep retirement interesting. Community art walks, local breweries, theater productions, pickleball leagues, seasonal festivals, and yes, an actual space museum that somehow exists in the middle of Kansas like a hidden bonus level. One resident once described living in Hutchinson as feeling like stepping into a peaceful Americana, painting, except with reliable internet, friendly neighbors, and someone nearby who always seems ready to share fresh produce or homemade desserts. Now, full honesty moment. Driving here can feel like a social experiment. Turn signals are treated more like optional suggestions, and at some point, you will absolutely get passed by a Buick moving at a speed that suggests it might be powered by memories instead of gasoline. And Hutchinson takes community festivals very seriously. There are moments where you'll walk downtown and suddenly realize half the population is celebrating corn, local food, or seasonal traditions with surprising enthusiasm. Honestly, it's weirdly charming. But picture the everyday rhythm here. No alarm clock, morning coffee on a quiet porch, a home that's fully paid off or comfortably affordable, nearby healthcare, minimal financial stress. And the only real debate is whether today is the day you finish yard work or confidently postpone it until tomorrow. Hutchinson feels like a place where retirement stops being about cutting back and starts being about gaining control, where clean air, friendly neighborhoods, and affordable living aren't luxuries. They're just part of the package. And when retirees realize how far their money stretches here, peace of mind stops feeling rare and starts feeling normal. Hutchinson doesn't try to sell itself as flashy or trendy. It simply delivers stability, affordability, and a lifestyle that quietly works. And honestly, sometimes that's the biggest upgrade retirement can offer. If this list surprised you, hit like and subscribe to The Urban Lens, where we break down the cities nobody talks about, but everyone should. Because retirement isn't about slowing down. It's about repositioning your life where your money, your time, and your peace finally line up. And if you think Hutchinson changed the game, wait until you see what we're uncovering next week. That one flips retirement planning completely upside down.